Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Let me just wait for a sign. Are we live? He's not saying anything. I don't know. Here, connect stream software. Are we or are we not?
We're live.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Wait, let me just... I need to see something here. Finally. Yes, finally. Indeed. Welcome everybody to our first live stream here in our I Love Mayapur channel. I'm very excited. You are live, Mataji. Thank you. Now I got the message from my dear husband as well. We are live. So our first live stream, I'm very excited about the life of Srila Rupa Goswami because today is Srila Rupa Goswami's disappearance day. And I thought, why not? Why not just dive deep into the life of our acharyas? And Rupa Goswami really was an extraordinary personality, and he really had an extraordinary life, and he is really immense important for us Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So let's start. The life of Srila Rupa Goswami. Why is he important for us Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Because he shaped the theology, the philosophy, and the practices of us Gaudiya Vaishnavas, of us Hare Krishnas. And he didn't just do it out of the blue. He was a close associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For the ones of you who don't know who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because when I came to India, I thought everyone knows about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then I learned, oh, not everyone knows about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So maybe you are also haven't heard about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so let me short explain you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, we Gaudiya Vaishnavas believe, he is an incarnation of Radha and Krishna combined. Why? Because he wanted to have this experience of being a devotee. Krishna wanted to have the experience of having the feelings Radharani has when he serves him. Because until then, until he came to this world as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't know how it is to love God. So in this Kali Yuga, he came as a combined form of Radha and Krishna, and he appeared here in Sridham Mayapur and also introduced the Sankirtan movement, the chanting of the holy name. So for us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a very important person, and Rupa Goswami was a very close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't know much about the childhood of Rupa Goswami, but we know he was born, just to give you a time frame, what we speak here about, he was born 1489, just 3 years younger as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like I said, we don't know much about his childhood. We know he was born in a very not famous, very pious. He was born in a very pious Brahmin family. They were 4 brothers and 1 sister, and 3 of the brothers became associates later of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It were Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, the elder brother, and Anupam, who later became the father of Jiva Goswami also. Important personality. So we don't know much, but it is said they were, especially Sanatana and Rupa Goswami, were very, very learned. They excelled in their studies of scriptures, and they were just loved by the people. They had very good devotional qualities. They had very good character. They were kind. They were loving. No one hated them. No one envied them. And they even looked effulgent. Shiny, happy, young people, you could say. Very learned, beautiful looking, devotional qualities, kind character. What else do you want to have? It is also said they knew more than 17 languages, like Sanskrit, Persian, Arabic, Bengali. So they became famous for their qualities. Why not? If you have so many good qualities, of course, people talk about it, and the qualities or the fame spread. Unfortunately, this led to some misery of Sanatan and Rupa Goswami, because the Shah of Bengal heard about the two brothers. He heard about their extraordinary qualities. He heard about their learned abilities, that they were very learned in the scriptures. He heard about them, and he wanted that Sanatan and Rupa Goswami will work under his ring, in his government. Because he thought, when these two people from this Hindu community will work for me, the Hindus will love me more.
Found this on the web for in his government because you thought when these two people from this Hindu community
Because,
check it out.
sorry, something switched on here. The Shah of Bengal, yes, he thought, when Sanatan and Rupa Goswami, when they work for me, the Hindus will love me more also. But it wasn't just a normal job offer. He didn't just offered a very good government position with a very well paid income. No, he actually did not, he threatened Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, because he said, if you don't take my offer, I will kill you. And I will not only kill you, I will kill all your brothers and sisters, I will slaughter the cows, I will destroy the temples, and, well, basically your entire village will be destroyed. So Sanatan and Rupa Goswami were very reluctant about that offer. But what should they do? They were threatened. What are you doing? There's a job offer, and if you don't take it, you will be killed. But not only that, in that time it was, when you work for a Muslim, then your Hindu community would also reject you. They would say, you are working for a Muslim, so go out of here. We reject you. You're out of our community. So, what should you do? If they would take the proposal, their own people would say, we reject you. Even if Rupa and Sanatan saved their lives, horrible situation they were in. So, with heavy heart, they finally agreed to work under Hussein Shah. The Hindu community excommunicated them, and they became prime minister, named as Rupa Goswami became prime minister, named Dabir Khas, and Sanatan Goswami became the finance minister, Sakar Malik. Not small positions. Prime minister, finance minister, huge salary. Well, now they were wealthy people. They were wealthy people, but not very happy. They were working for the Navad, not very happy. still the Nawab allowed them to practice some of their Hindu rituals. They invited brahmanas. They discussed the scriptures. They were a little bit preaching also, but they didn't overdo it because they didn't trust the Shah. They didn't know, one second he was very nice, next second he was, you don't know, he could kill. He could kill just on an instant. So they were allowed, but they practiced with care, you could say. At that time, Sanatana and Rupa Goswami already heard about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They heard about this shining figure who appeared here in Sridhar Mayapur, who were chanting the holy names, who left the village, became a sannyasi and traveled to Puri, had so many followers, and they wanted to meet him. The desire to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so big. It was overwhelming. They really, really wanted to meet him. They were working in, Sanatana and Rupa Goswami were working in Ram Keli. And actually they made Ram Keli like a little replica of Vrindavan. They had a little Radhakund, and they had a little Shamakund, and they had a Govardhan. They did Govardhan Parigram, and they had a Madan Mohan deity, which they offered garlands, and to this deity, they also very heartfeltly prayed, very, very intensely. They prayed to him, please relieve us from this king. My dear Madan Mohan, please relieve us from this king. We really want to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one night, Sanatan had a dream. So you can already see the life of Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami are very, very much connected. But I try to focus on the stories of Rupa Goswami today. They had a dream. Sanatana Goswami had a dream. In this dream, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and he told him, you perform your service, but make sure you don't entangle yourself in this material world. Sanatana Goswami woke up, ran to Rupa Goswami, told him about, I saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They never met him, actually. They never met him before. It was just in a dream. And Rupa Goswami said, I had a similar dream. I had a similar dream, very close to what you were telling me. And it is said, from this day on, from this dream, from this day, they both had the dream. They gave their hearts to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even more and wanted to serve him. And really, really wanted to be with him. And they just knew. They never saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but from the vision they could actually feel there was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearing in their dream. Their mother and father, they were also not very happy that their sons, they're very learned, they're shiny little boys, actually, some years ago. A bright future ahead, but now they're working for the Muslim king. And they were not happy that they had that position, and their mother suggested that they write a letter to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In preparation to this live story session here, I heard some lectures, and also from Indradyumna Maharaj, and at that point when he tells the story, he says, imagine you write a letter to God. And I found that very, very sweet. Imagine you take the paper and the pen, and then you really write everything down. You write down your worries. You write down what is in your heart, what makes you sad, what is your situation about. Maybe nowadays you would have an email address. Huh? No, but that time, pen and letter. So Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they did that. He wrote down what the situation is. They're working for the Nawab. They don't want to work for the Nawab. They are want to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what should they do? And no reply. They didn't get any reply to their letter, so they wrote again and again. And finally, there was a mail from God. They got an answer from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Finally, they got an answer. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't run away, stay in your job. Work for the Shah, but think about me. That was not what Sanatan and Rupa Goswami wanted to hear. Actually, they don't want to work anymore for the Shah. But now they had the order to continue with their work, but internally increase even more their desire to be with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let me just drink. So, where were we? Yeah. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled to Vrindavan in the year 1540, Rupa Goswami by the time was about 25 years old. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled to Vrindavan. At that time, he already had a big crowd following him. So many people wanted to be in the association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when he announced he will travel to Vrindavan, many thousands of people traveled with him. Under these people was Narasingha Brahmachari. Narasingha Brahmachari did everything what he did for the Lord, he did mentally. So when Narasingha Brahmachari wanted to offer food for the Lord, he prepared everything mentally. He plucked the fruit or the vegetable. He plucked the vegetable, he washed the vegetable, he cut the vegetable, he put the vegetable in the hot ghee together with the chunks, everything mentally, step by step, and added some flavor to it and prepared it very nicely in his mind. That was how Narasingha Brahmachari offered his service to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now announced he will go to Vrindavan, Narasingha Brahmachari decided he will clean the pathway for the Lord. So he was very enthusiastic, cleaning the pathway, making it very nicely, dusted it and decorated the road with trees and with flower bushes, and he put some birds here and there and some peacocks and some deers, and he decorated the path to Vrindavan very nicely. But on Kananatashala, his meditation broke. He couldn't go further in his meditation than Kananatashala. So he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not going to Vrindavan. He predicted that. So let's see. Chaitanya came with his 1,000 followers one night, one evening, to Ramkeli. You remember, Ramkeli was the town Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were living. That's where the place of work under the Shah. They lived in Ramkeli. So Chaitanya came with his 1,000 followers to Ramkeli. And of course, Rupa and Sanatana heard about it. God is in town, and they wanted to go. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in town. We need to go. We need to go. God is in town. It's like, when is Radha Yatra? Of course you have to go. Jagannath is coming to your town. You go and see him. Even more, Sanatan and Rupa Goswami must have felt when they heard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here, the one we wanted to see, the one we never saw before. We had a vision about him, we got a letter about him, but we never had the personal exchange. We never had a personal meeting, so we want to see him. but they didn't dare to go like they were, because they didn't trust the Shah. They were like high government officials, like the prime minister and the finance minister. And they weren't sure about what would happen if the Shah would find out that they meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they disguised themselves. They disguised themselves so that no one could recognize them, and they went to the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took rest with his 1,000 followers. First, they met Nityananda and Haridas. Nityananda Mahaprabhu, I just say very close associate also of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas, the Namacharya. And first, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami met them. They got the blessings from Nityananda and Haridas. They blessed them that Lord Chaitanya will take their requests, and they can take shelter under Lord Chaitanya. And then Nityananda took Rupa and Sanatana in front of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is actually the way how you do it. You should not approach a spiritual master, but also even in a business world, a higher person, just by approaching them directly. It's always better if you find someone who is introducing you in the circle, who recommends you. It's always a little bit better, and the same way it was with Sanatana and Rupa Goswami when they got introduced to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in person. So, here they are, seeing the Lord. And the first thing they did, falling to the ground like a stick. They were falling to the ground, paid their obeisances, and couldn't believe it, actually. They were crying and praying to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are the most fallen. You are the most magnanimous. Please accept us in your service. And then I tried a little trick. I said, if you not accept Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik, what will the other people think? What will what will they think that there's no chance for them? But if you accept us, then everybody will be accepted. I found this really, like, what will the others think? Set an example with us, accept us. If we are accepted, if we are the persons who work for a Muslim, if we are accepted by you, then everybody feels like they can be accepted. Even a white woman from East Germany, they can be accepted as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servant. They really set an example here. So they were falling to Lord Chaitanya's feet and prayed to them. I mean, imagine the scene again. Imagine the scene. Here we are. The Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, very high status, government position, very rich. They have wealth like their anchor-stat could not spend so much money like they already had. They were really wealthy. They had a high status, and still it was worth nothing for them. The only thing they wanted to serve Lord Chaitanya. They wanted to be with him. And of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted them. And he promised also that the bonds of the Shah will soon be broken. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised them now to leave the Nawab and to go to Vrindavan. And then he placed his lotus feet on their heads, on Rupa Goswami's and Sanatana's head, and initiated them. From today, Dabir Khas, I rename you as Rupa Goswami. So this was the first time Rupa Goswami was actually Rupa Goswami, before he was not known under that name. At that first meeting with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got that name, Rupa Goswami. And Sakar Malik, I rename you as Sanatan Goswami. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went then further on his journey to Vrindavan, but really, just to close the circle, he really didn't came further than Kananatashala. Actually, Nityananda had advised him not to go further, because Vrindavan is a place where you really should go in peace and serenity and very humble, and not actually come as a big spiritual master, as a big guru with thousands of followers. So Nityananda said, maybe it's good if you not go now with so many people in your back. Maybe you can go to another time just by yourself. So actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri and didn't went further to Vrindavan like Narasingha Brahmachari had it seen in his vision. Whew. The episode of the Shah was over now, for Rupa Goswami at least. He decided to leave. He just got out of the government service and retired, together with his little brother Anupam. Later, for Sanatan Goswami, it was a little bit more complicated, but that's a topic for someone else. Later, he also got out and met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but for now, only Rupa Goswami left the service of the Nawab. And later they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, together with Anupam in a place called Dashavameda Ghat. And on that place, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 days. It's a very important episode in his life, because all the teachings Rupa Goswami got at that point, Rupa Goswami wrote down for us. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed him for 10 days about Krishna Tattva, the truth about Krishna, who is Krishna. Then Bhakti Tattva, the truth about devotion to Krishna. And Ras Tattva, it's about the transcendental mellows. How is my relationship in service to Krishna? How's my rasa to Krishna? So Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, and Ras Tattva. And he wrote a book about these teachings. Rupa Goswami wrote a book about the teachings he got during these 10 days. It's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Very worth to read. It is said, so I was sometimes thinking, why didn't Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote all these books by himself? Why is he not? He just came and not really wrote something down. There's a Shikshastakam, of course, but all these teachings. And I found a very sweet explanation, actually, about it. It is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he relished these emotions of this combined form of Radha and Krishna, these feelings of loving God so much that he was just too much caught up in his ecstasy. He could not just calm down, write everything systematically down for the others. He just experienced it. He just wanted to live it. He just wanted to have it all. But he wasn't here for just writing it down. For that, the 6 Goswamis came. And Rupa Goswami was one of them, who just could check the emotions and write all the teachings Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave on how to serve God, how to serve God, how to have the loving exchange with God. Everything he learned from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami wrote down systematically for us. He wrote it down, he explained it in a perfect way. It is said that after Rupa Goswami received this knowledge from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and yeah, got all the knowledge, he was very, very humble. He didn't run around like a puffed up man. Yeah, I got it. He told me everything. He told the secrets to me, only me. I have now all the secrets. God personally told me everything. No, he wasn't like that. He was really, really humble. He wrote prayers where he expressed his astonishment. How can it be that a low man like me is inspired to write this transcendental literature by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? How can it be that it's me? Kind of, he really was very, very humble about it, and he couldn't even, he couldn't, how to say, I don't know, my English, my words are missing. He couldn't believe that he was the chosen one, one of the chosen ones who got the chance to write it all down for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very, very humble. So after these 10 days, of course, Rupa and Anupam didn't want to leave Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They wanted to stay with him. They wanted to have more of his association, but Sri Chaitanya sent them to Vrindavan. And because the Goswamis had a special mission in Vrindavan, and so they got sent to Vrindavan. But Rupa, very shortly after he went to Vrindavan, again came for 10 months to Jagannath Puri to have association with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this 10 months in Jagannath Puri were also very, very important, because Rupa Goswami could just see and understand more who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really, really was. He could see when Chaitanya danced full of ecstasy in front of the cart of Jagannath, and who he really was, that he was this combined form of Radha and Krishna, who is dancing for Jagannath, and Radha is dancing for their Krishna. And he could really understand this form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he could even more understand the teachings he got from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this 10 months association in Jagannath Puri were also very, very important for Rupa Goswami to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood. Yeah. But then finally they needed to go to Vrindavan. Chaitanya sent them to Vrindavan because they had to fulfill a very special mission. Okay, let me just take a sip from my water. So, what was the special mission? They had 4 orders. One was discovering the lost pastime places of Sri Krishna. Because it was known that the ancestor of Krishna, Rajanabha, that's the grandson of Krishna, he established various deities and various temples, and they were also worshipped, but over the time they got lost. So 6 Goswamis, Sanatan, and also Rupa Goswami, we're talking today about, they should find these places. And also where all the other pastime places happened. Like, where was he born? Where were his childhood pastimes? Like, where did he kill Keshi, for example? So they should discover all these lost pastime places, Radhakund, Shyama-kund. So they got sent to Vrindavan. Mission number 1, uncover the lost pastime places. Install the deities, find the deities, install them. Establish temples, write the Bhakti Shastris. It takes time, Now they got the instructions, but now Rupa Goswami need to sit down and write it down systematically. So write the Shastra and propagate the rules of Bhakti, and was the 4th rule. So finally, in the year 1517, on the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami came to Vrindavan and lived there together with his brother. By that time, Sanatan was also escaped. It was a real escape with Sanatan Goswami. He was also escaped from the Shah, and they came finally to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, they lived very, very simple. They were mendicants, which means they were begging for their food. They were sleeping every day on a different place. And they were wandering around Vrindavan to search the lost pastime places. So again, can we shortly remember where they come from? They had a very brilliant upcoming, like very learned, very loved by everyone. Then they came to the Shah, where they really had a high position, so much wealth, boat loads full of wealth. And now they were wandering around Vrindavan, begging for their food, but totally happy, because they were in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They really enjoyed their life in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Of course, they had also their favorite places. Places where they really liked to sit and write. And for Rupa Goswami, it was the place of Theyre. Theyre Kadamba is the place where Krishna in the evening climbs on the Kadamba trees. There are a lot of Kadamba trees there. Krishna climbs up, and with his flute, he is calling the 900 cows that it's time to go home. Krishna climbs up the trees, and with his flute, he calls the names of 900,000 cows to it's time to go home. Let's go. Let's gather together. This is Theyre Kadamba. Very serene, very peaceful place. And Rupa Goswami really, really liked that place. He liked to sit there and to write in this peaceful atmosphere. For example, he wrote Nectar of Instruction, it is said, on that place. The Nectar of Instruction. We don't like to take instructions, right? But this is nectar. His instructions are total nectar. And he wrote that book there, in Theyre Kadamba, in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And there is a very beautiful description. He not only wrote about the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also wrote about Radha and Krishna pastimes. And we all know the situation that we get affected from someone's mood. If someone is sad and we come in his atmosphere, in his circle kind of, and we see him, oh, what's happening? Why are you sad? So we also feel a little bit, oh, what's going on? Or when this person is very happy and so shiny and happy, then this happiness can jump over on us, and or the same way we can affect someone to be happy, or we can affect someone to be very morose. And it is described that in Rupa Goswami's case, it was not just like people. He could affect every living entity. So when he was sitting in Theyre Kadamba and describing or meditating and writing down the pastimes of Radha Krishna, and he was writing about Radharani's sorrow because he was separated from Krishna, and she was very morose and sorrowful, then she could, then even the Kadamba trees in that place, they started to let the leaves fall. The leaves were falling from the Kadamba trees when he was writing a sad pastime of Radha and Krishna. And when he was writing down a happy pastime of Radha and Krishna, for example, Radha and Krishna were united again, and Radha was very, very, very happy that he could serve him, then the Kadamba trees, they got new sprouts and new flowers and new leaves, and they were also like, yoo-hoo, we are happy. It's a very sweet description how even Rupa Goswami was able to even... one time, at being in Terkadamba, it was Sanatana Goswami's birthday, appearance day, we say. It was his appearance day. But Rupa Goswami had nothing to present him. There he was, his loved brother, his brother Sanatana Goswami. He spent his whole life with. He loved so dearly, but he had nothing to give him. Once they had a high status and a lot of wealth, but they gave it all up, and now they did not even had anything to offer for his dear brother, for his appearance day. So he was so sad. He was so sad, it is said he moistened even with his tears his manuscripts. Can you believe? So sad. He was crying that he not give anything to the birthday, appearance day of his dear brother. And suddenly there came a little village girl. And this little village girl approached Rupa Goswami and said, the elderly ladies from this village, they sent me here and they wanted that I give you these ingredients because this fruit, we see you only eat fruits and roots, and they gave me these ingredients for you so that you can cook a nice meal and in that way stay healthy. Rupa happy. He was just so happy that somebody came with a basket full of ingredients and he could cook now something for his dear brother for his birthday, appearance day. He could cook now something. The story is very, he was so happy. So he prepared it, and finally Sanatana Goswami in the late morning he came, and Rupa Goswami offered him this cooked food. Sanatana was eating it, and when he ate the first spoon, he was overwhelmed with bliss. He was like, what is that? He was like, overwhelmed with so much ecstasy, so much bliss, really. And he was saying, the only time I tasted all these ecstatic symptoms appeared in my body was the only time that was when Gopal gave me milk. Totally other story, but that was the only time. So where do you got these ingredients from? He asked to Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami explained, yeah, there came this village girl and she gave me the ingredients. And then Sanatana asked him to describe the girl, because he knew the village people. Who was it? And then he said, yeah, she was that tall, long braid, this and this garments. And he described the girl. Sanatana Goswami said, I don't know anybody who's looking like that in this village. I don't know of any family who has such a daughter. And Sanatana Goswami looked Rupa Goswami with tears in his eyes. He looked at him and said, that girl must be from Vashana. That girl must be from Vashana, and it must be the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. And they were devastated. How could they do that? How could they make Radharani serve them? They were supposed to serve Radharani. And Radharani should serve Krishna. But now Radharani left the service to Krishna to serve Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. How could that happen? And they were very morose, very sad. Oh my God, we did such a mistake. How could? But then they also felt the ecstasy that, wow, Radharani served us. She took care of us personally. So they were feeling a total mixture of emotions, of happiness and how could it be? And they were totally overwhelmed and hugged each other and cried and were very, wow, what just happens? They're crying again. Oh, Radha, oh, my queen. Yeah. So this, it said this story is illustrating that Rupa and Sanatana Goswami are especially servants of Srimati Radharani, and people who follow Rupa Goswami, Rupa Nugas, they see usually themselves also as servants of Srimati Radharani. I have one more very interesting, nice, sweet story about Rupa Goswami and his books. One second. One day, Rupa Goswami visited Raghunath Das Goswami on Radhakund. And it was mid-morning, the birds were chatting in the trees, and Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami, they discussed the pastimes of Sanatana Goswami came also. And then they three sat beneath a tree and discussed the stories. Then Sanatana Goswami asked, my dear Rupa Goswami, would you maybe like to read us something from your latest book, what you wrote? And Rupa Goswami agreed. And he read something about a description of Radharani. He described Radharani as golden, as fresh as Gorochana, and her garments are splendid. And her braid is always decorated with beautiful flowers, and it is glistening like the hood of a serpent. When Sanatana Goswami heard that, what? Her braid is like the hood of a serpent? He was doubtful. He said, wait. Is it right? I don't like this comparison. Our sweet, charming Radharani is compared to a fearsome, poisonous snake? Sanatana did not like that. And Rupa Goswami, very, very humble, said, of course, if you say so, then it must be right. Please suggest something more fitting. Suggest another comparison I could take. And Sanatana said, I don't know in the moment. I would think about it. Let me take my midday bath, and I will think about another, how else the braid can be described. So he went to take his bath to Radhakund at another corner. And as he wanted to take the bath, he saw on the opposite side, he saw some girls playing under a tree on a swing, actually. There were some girls, and one girl was sitting on a swing, hanging from the tree, and the girls were laughing a lot, and they were swinging the girls and pushing her and had a lot of fun. And also, they were not just laughing and had a lot of fun, they were also singing songs about Radha and Krishna. So it was a very sweet scene Rupa Goswami just saw there. But suddenly, he noticed a black snake. A black snake just slithered up the rope on the swing. And the snake was just about to wrap his coils around the girl's head. So he was crying to them. He was calling. He was calling out to them, look behind you, there's a snake. Careful, there's a snake. But the girls didn't notice him. They didn't hear him. They were just laughing and singing and pushing the girl on the swing. So he ran to them, and on the way he was waving his arms. Hey, snake, there's a snake, careful. Girls, be careful. And suddenly, everything vanished. Nothing was there anymore. No girls, no swing, no snake. Gone. All gone. So the only thing Sanatana Goswami could hear was still the laughter of the girls. And he saw that the tree the swing were hanging from was like somehow in a radiant golden hue. So suddenly the realization came over him. This girl on a swing was actually Srimati Radharani. And the snake he had just seen wasn't a snake. It was the braid of Radharani, like his brother Rupa Goswami had described it in his verse. And when he realized that, he fell down unconscious. He fainted. He fainted on that realization. Boom. So after some time, he came up, he regained consciousness. He returned to the ghat where Raghunath Goswami and Rupa Goswami sat. And in a trembling voice, he explained everything he had seen to Raghunath Goswami and Rupa Goswami. And he apologized. He apologized and asked for forgiveness that the description his brother Rupa Goswami had made, that this description of her braid was absolutely correct. And Raghunath Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami, they hugged each other and they cried and were in total bliss, you would say in our language. Total ecstasy and affection also for each other, that they had such an intimate relationship, that they could share such realizations and things. Yeah. I think it's time to end. I have some more, but let me just, at least maybe a little excursion about Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is the person who wrote a lot of the books, who translated a lot of the books of the Vedic knowledge from these acharyas in English language, who wrote commentaries also about it, and then brought this knowledge personally to the Western world in the late 60s. So he was also very, very much inspired by Rupa Goswami. When Srila Prabhupada, when A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was a young student, he got an instruction from his spiritual master that he should preach this Vedic knowledge, this knowledge about Krishna, this knowledge about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he should preach this in English. And A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, he carried this instruction from his spiritual master his whole life in his heart. And after he finished his studies, he had a family, he had a business, but never forgot this instruction. Finally, when he left the family, when he renounced the family, he took sannyas, he moved to Vrindavan. And he not just moved anywhere, he moved to the Radha Damodar temple. Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan is the place where Rupa Goswami's samadhi is. So there, Rupa Goswami's samadhi is. And the situation was like that Srila Prabhupada had 2 rooms there. He had a bedroom and then a kitchen where he also ate. Then when he looked out of the window from the kitchen, he directly saw the samadhi of Rupa Goswami. And he prayed a lot of times to Rupa Goswami for strength and mercy to fulfill the mission of his spiritual master. There is one disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Mula Prakriti. She visited a lot of people who knew A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami before he came to the West. Her lectures are also, or her stories are also on YouTube, and she also wrote a book. I think she passed away already. But it's incredible work she did. And one story she could preserve is that she found a Babaji, Ridananda Das Babaji, and he said he lived as a boy, he lived next to Radha Damodar temple. And at night sometimes he could hear this crying and wailing and really like crying and crying and crying night after night after night. And one night he went up to the roof and was looking in the courtyard of the Radha Damodar temple where Rupa Goswami's Samadhi was. And then he saw A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami sweeping the floor, cleaning the floor around Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, and was crying and praying to Rupa Goswami, please, dear Rupa Goswami, give me the mercy, be merciful to me, please be merciful to me, let me fulfill the mission of my spiritual master, please be merciful to me. So A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who later came to the Western world, who translated so many books, and myself and many others just know Krishna because of him. This person just prayed intensely to Rupa Goswami because he knew the importance of him, the potency of him. He knew who Rupa Goswami was. And it is one more story about Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. He told personally to Guru Das, and also a disciple of Prabhupada, that he meditated a lot on Rupa Goswami. So Prabhupada meditated a lot on Rupa Goswami. And yeah, when he was taking his meals, he could see directly his Samadhi. And one day, Rupa Goswami appeared to our Srila Prabhupada, to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. He appeared to him, and he said, now you have written some books. Take them to the Western countries and preach. Don't hesitate anymore. With a lot of difficulty, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami had translated and commented the Srimad Bhagavatam. He did everything himself. He translated it, he wrote it himself, he edited it himself, he collected money, he begged for money to buy the paper. Then with the paper, he went to the printer, was bargaining for a better price, finally got it printed. Everything what is work is to do for a book, he did himself. And finally, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami had 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. And exactly after that, time finally had the first 3 volumes finished, and then Rupa Goswami appeared to him. He appeared to him and said, now you have these books. Don't hesitate any longer. Go to the Western world. And it was exactly the instruction his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, had given him. And he had taken it as a great resource of strength and blessing that Rupa Goswami, he had this vision of Rupa Goswami, and he appeared to him and he finally said, okay, it's time to go. I really have to do it now. And from that day on, then he told a lot of people that he wanted to go to the USA just to see if doors would be open. And not soon after, of course, doors opened. And he got a ticket to America. Yeah. Rupa Goswami. So after over 30 years in Vrindavan, Sanatana Goswami was the first one who left the body in Manasi Ganga at the foot of Govardhan Hill, and it was very, 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 very painful. So painful for the Vaishnava community, also for Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami performed the funeral rites for his dear brother Sanatana Goswami. And it is said that then he just retired in his own bhajan kutir and never came out again. He just stayed in his bhajan kutir chanting the holy names and left the body. He left the body with 75 years old, barely a month after Sanatana Goswami. Yeah, these were some stories about Rupa Goswami on his disappearance day today. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for following our first live stream. I hope we do this more often now, that we together can hear about life stories or stories about our acharyas or other topics. Then thank you very much. Hare Krishna.